Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Afternoons with the Ambassador. And as always, I am your host, the Ambassador. It is good to have you all with me this afternoon. And today, as the title indicates, we are going to be reviewing Hunt for Red October. My friends, this reminds me of the heady days of Sputnik and Yuri Gagarin, where the world trembled at the sound of our rockets. But now they will tremble at the sound of our silence. And with me today, I have got Positive Candor, formerly known as number one sci-fi, Mr. CCDV, and first time host, our first time guest to my channel, Admiral Oliver Franklin Doom. And gentlemen, thank you for being here today. How are y'all doing today on this 4th of July Eve?
I'm pretty good here. I'm looking at the YouTube stream, and apparently the avatars aren't coming through, or at least on my end.
Yeah, for some reason, the avatars have been acting goofy lately, and I have no idea why. And very briefly to the chat, my longtime and somewhat MIA moderator, Shea Storm Dragon, Mother of Mods, good to see you, ma'am. Superior Hero Reviews, Cody, good to see you as well. Aberjam UK, welcome. Glad you are here as well. It's been a little while since I've seen you in the chat, but I am glad you're here. Nobody Geek, let's talk. Jesse, good to see you. And you know what? This is honestly, I think, is a great way to kick off the 4th of July weekend by talking about a great military movie, a great 90s movie in general. So guys, we don't sell a bunch of ceremony here. Let's just jump right in and let's talk about Hunt for October. Gentlemen, where do you want to begin?
Wow. Guess that'll be me. This movie, when I first saw this movie, it was, I thought it was actually incredible. Well done. It was just, God, I'm losing my mind. It's one of the few movies that Alec Baldwin is in that I could actually stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can absolutely get that. And okay, Aberjam, I'm gonna put your comment up here. Ping me, Vasily. One ping only, please. So
and of course Tim Curry.
Yes, Curry as the doctor. Movie. As the doctor, yes.
As Comrade Clueless.
That's a good way to put it.
That is a really good one. Well, let's see. Yeah. Let's just start off everything. Admiral, I'll give you a few minutes to collect your thoughts. Let's just talk about the cast for a minute, because you have, I think, arguably one of the best casts for a movie that's ever been put together. Of course, you got Sean Connery. You've got James Earl Jones as Admiral Jim Greer. You've got Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. You have got, oh, for heaven's sakes, Scott Glenn as Captain Burt Mancuso of the USS Dallas. You've got Fred Thomas Dalton. I can't remember. That was one of was the commander of the USS Indianapolis. You've got so many great actors. And, of course, you've got one good female lead. You've got Gates McFadden as Mrs. Jack Ryan and everything. And I'll say this for Gates McFadden. I did not know she could do that good of a British accent. And she does a really, really good one. So, but, yeah, honestly, of course, you got Tim Curry as the Russian ship doctor. And I don't want to forget about Vasily, played by the second in command of the Red October, played by, I think, a great actor, Sam Neill.
Yes.
So,
Fred Thompson.
Fred Dalton Thompson. Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Russians don't take a dump without permission.
No, Russians don't take a dump without a plan.
Yeah. And it's just, it was so it's funny because you look at some of these movies, and now, granted, I was never a bubblehead. That's our polite term for submariners in the Navy.
That's an awful polite term.
I was never a bubblehead, so I don't know what a submarine, a nuclear submarine, looks like. I was on a diesel one for about an hour during boot camp, and well, that was so long ago I don't remember. But I've never seen a nuclear submarine, so I don't know, what they look like. But even if it's not exact, it's well done. I mean, they could have made it completely off the wall, and they didn't. Some of the spaces were kind of big, though. But
well, you got to make
I'm sorry. Go ahead, CZ.
Well, you gotta make allowances, and you gotta suspend your disbelief if you've ever actually been inside a submarine. There's no way to film in one of those.
Yeah, they have to be a little bigger than the real thing because
like you gotta
tight
be
quarters.
4 feet tall and 83 pounds to go through a submarine.
Yeah. There's a reason why bubbleheads call them boats. Okay, they're not. They refer to themselves as being on boats. Everything else in the Navy's a ship. That's a boat. So,
well, and folks, just thing to the chat. I'm the one civvy in this stream. The three gentlemen with me are all from various branches of our military, so they will be the authority here. I can talk about this movie from the cinematic standpoint. They know the real life stuff. So,
well,
but yeah,
the other two guys know more than I do.
Well, yes, cinematic speaking.
I'm just a dumb grunt, but I like the movie.
You're not a dumb grunt. Will you quit that? Or I'll mute you. I'll give you. If you start talking badly about yourself, I'll give you the Loki treatment and I'll mute you for the remainder of the stream. Anytime somebody starts acting up, I tell them I give them the Loki treatment, and they know exactly. Most everybody knows what that means.
Fair enough.
You mute yourself, Admiral. That doesn't count.
Yeah, but I beat you to it because you're going to anyway. Anyway.
PC, positive candor. Any thoughts on anything so far that we've mentioned? So,
well, you had also, and I found the guy. It's Joss Ackland, who was the Soviet ambassador.
Oh, okay.
To the United
All right,
States.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks.
Played by that actor.
You
have James Earl Jones in his typical James Earl Jones voice. In one part of the movie, and you never saw that when he presses the button. Basically,
You heard the torpedo impact, and I was never here.
Yeah. And then you have other actors that later on, had probably more well-known movies. I guess specifically Scott Glenn. This is not his most well-known movie, but and obviously Sam Neill was in Jurassic Park, so obviously this is not his most well-known movie,
No, yeah, but the thing is, all these actors did a great job bringing these roles to life and everything. And one thing that I find very interesting about this, I went through part of the Cold War through the 80s and 90s. You all, to one degree or another, were were witness to that for a much longer time than I was.
Well, not the Cold War. I'm not that old.
Well, Cece, technically speaking, Cece, I'm just gonna. How old are you?
I'm 43.
Oh, for heaven's sake, you are quite literally a year older than me. So yeah.
Okay, I did live through it in a capacity, but not in a military capacity.
Well, no, not in a military capacity, maybe, but you did live through it. But I think what is great about this movie is it does present a very interesting snapshot into the world of the United States and the tensions between us and the Soviet Union and everything through this film, because you've got Ramius and the better part of his crew and everything are wanting to defect and get the heck out of the USSR, and well, we can't blame them. Not to mention Ramius is like, I saw this ship and I knew its one and only purpose: start war, kill people. And he's like, I didn't want a part of it. Oh, Aberjam. Oh, that's okay.
Definitely over Crimson Tide.
Oh, Red October, absolutely.
Yeah, way more. Yeah.
Admiral, what about you?
Yeah, Red October.
Yeah, I will say this: I do like Crimson Tide. It also has a top-notch cast. I'm not gonna mince words, but yeah, for me, it's Red October. Just because.
You know what? I watched this again recently just to refresh my memory for this stream. I keep forgetting that Fred Thompson is in this movie.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we just brought him up and everything. He plays the commander of the Enterprise, the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise, and well, Star Trek reference. Anyway, but yeah, go ahead, Admiral, please.
It's funny because one of the stories that we were told when I was on Theodore Roosevelt is that when they went on their first Blue Nose cruise, it was a daily occurrence for a Soviet bear to fly over the ship. It was just the way it was. There was always a Soviet airplane flying over the ship and a Soviet submarine usually within sight of us. And that's just the way it was. We'd be playing with our little planes out in the middle of the water, and there'd be a submarine or an airplane from the Soviet Union watching.
Well, and Aberjam, I will agree with that absolutely. Yeah, the chemistry between those two guys, it was really good. But and I'll say this: for a fairly dramatic movie, this movie has got some great comedic moments. It's got some really funny lines and everything, even though they're not intentionally funny.
Right.
But even as an American, I'm going to say this: when you see the crew starting to sing the Soviet national anthem, you're like, dang, this stirs something in me that, even though I'm not Russian, that makes me, or even anything, that stirs something in me that's like, I can respect this. I dig this music, even though I don't support the ideology behind it.
Like Ryan's outburst when he was trying to, when he was talking to all those, like that cabinet, when he hit the table. Son of a
bitch! Something you have to share with us, Dr. Ryan?
I actually love that they do justice to the patriotism that a lot of Russians had in the USSR.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of the stories of everybody wants to defect and nobody's happy, but that's really not the case, and they show that in this movie.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a good Aberjam. That's a good one. Yeah. Go ahead, Admiral, please.
No, it's just he's right. We get the impression that everybody wanted to leave the Soviet Union because of and people don't realize the historic context of the people of the Soviet Union, Russia in general,
Yeah.
that they came from nothing. Their entire existence was nothing. So, lack of freedom was not a foreign concept to these people. It's the same way in China. They've always been, it's always been that way. They don't know any different. So, there are some who wanted to leave, but most didn't. So,
yeah, I mean, you had 2 generations coming up on 3 generations leading into the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of the Soviet Union. So it really was. I mean, it was indoctrinated for 40 years?
Well, it wasn't even indoctrination. Remember, most Russians were serfs. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't know any different.
Yeah, that's true. And it really didn't make any difference to them when regime changes happened in the country either.
The difference between the serfs and the communists in the Soviet Union were that, well, I could go get a job elsewhere. I wasn't stuck where I was. I can go elsewhere. That was a great deal of freedom. So,
Well, yeah, and and I'll just say this. It's always cool to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend playing a Russian officer or a Russian crew member, because that's actually the guy who starts singing the Soviet national anthem there on the Red October. So go ahead.
And the casting of Sean Connery.
Oh, yes.
I questioned that in the beginning, not because, not for any other reason than realizing that Sean Connery's accent is probably as far from Russian as you could possibly get.
Well, he's a Scot. He's a Scotsman.
I understand that, and he doesn't. Yeah. And he doesn't do accents.
Nope.
But
no, he only speaks in his own.
So it's like, I'm going to say this. I'm glad that the people who put this movie together didn't force these people to do Russian accents, because that could have gone horribly.
Yeah. Well, I've heard commentary on other movies where you had people playing different ethnicities and everything, and they've made the comment that a Russian accent is one of the most difficult ones to what's the word I'm looking for? Imitate. And the fact that you only have people that sound remotely, that were either born in Russia or were born relatively close to Russia, that had that Eastern European accent, try to do a Russian accent and carry it off pretty well. I'll say this for Sam Neill, because Sam Neill himself is a British actor, but he did a good job doing a Russian accent for the majority of the movie. I don't recall his accent ever slipping, but he did. He did a very good job. And Aberjam, thank you for putting that in there. I appreciate it. Aberjam actually put the lyrics and everything to the former Soviet Union national anthem in there. But and I'll say this: this is not an effects heavy movie, but I will say this: the subs and everything, they look very realistic, particularly underwater. They did for a 90s movie. The effects for this film hold up very well. At least I think they do.
Right. And you get back to let's go to the sub battle at the end of the movie.
Sure.
That was really well done. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how a torpedo would lose track of. I mean, losing track of a boat is normal, but oh look, let's go after the bad guy this time. But the whole the skipper of the other boat.
Oh, Stellan Skarsgård. I can't remember the name. Oh, what was the name of his character?
Tupolev.
Tupolev. Yes. Yeah, Tupolev.
Tupolev, he was an ass.
Yeah.
And played well. I mean, it was all the parts were spot on as far as I could see, and the acting was as well.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Because, okay, I'm gonna say this: for a Scotsman, Sean Connery has a very strong Russian chin, especially with that beard. That's a very Russian beard. That's why I picked that particular picture for my avatar for this stream. Not to mention, I love the hat. I loved those fur hats that they had back then for the Russian military and for the Russian people. So, Positive Candy, you've been kind of quiet. Anything you want to comment on everything thus far? Or anything you do want to bring up yourself that we haven't touched on?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to bring up Scott Glenn. Him and, well, specifically him, flew out to a Navy ship, a Navy sub, the Salt Lake City, commanded by Commander Thomas Fargo, and he said that his portrayal was based on that commander on that specific submarine. And then Alec Baldwin was also taken to a sub as well. So they flew those two people specifically out to Navy submarines to get a feel for how it was like and everything, and as far as life aboard a real submarine and everything. And he portrayed that commander, his portrayal as Bart Mancuso was specifically based on the Commander Fargo of the Salt Lake City. And I think that's incredible that he did not know basically how to play, or act that part without actually going there. And that helped tremendously. And then I do like also the part in the movie where they're going through some kind of underneath cavern kind of thing, I guess, in this abyss or whatever it's called in the movie. And they had to specifically time their turns and stuff like that to get through it and everything. I like that part of this movie as well. It brings out a specific tension, I guess, to the movie and everything where, if you don't time, and this timing was based on other subs that had gone through it as far as when to turn and stuff in it, to specifically meet up basically with the Dallas has why they had to go through this, I guess, underneath cavern kind of area and everything in the movie. And I thought that was a very unique scene in this movie as well.
Yeah. It makes you realize how many people have had to possibly put themselves in danger to get charts that accurate.
Very true. Yeah.
Because, somebody had to go down there and do it the first time. Not something I would love to be a part of, trust me.
No, because that is dangerous work. So, but for me, honestly, somebody put this. I think it was Aberjam asked and everything, and I know Admiral, you commented on this. Positive Kandra, you could probably speak to this as well. How realistic would the tactic or the move like a Crazy Ivan be in actual naval warfare? I know Admiral gave his opinion, but what's your 2 cents on that?
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the main idea of a ship captain is never reveal your true, I guess, intentions, and always mix it up. You don't want to do the same thing more than once, really. Otherwise, you'll be pinged as okay. He's always going to go, and ping is a accurate, a very accurate term in this movie. But you're going to be pinged as like they say in the movie, either the left or the right, whichever way it was. For the ping, I forget which direction they said he was going to turn, either left or right, in that specific moment in the movie. But yeah, you got to be able to predict. Okay, still based on their previous, I guess, actions. Okay, yeah, he always turns right in the bottom half of the hour versus turn or whatever they mentioned in this movie. And I thought, okay, wow, this guy really Jack Ryan really knows Remus's characteristics because he met him in person. He specifically says, "Hey, I met you in person one time. You probably
at a state dinner, yeah."
And he got lucky.
And he admits he did get lucky, but hey, sometimes luck plays into it,
Yeah.
But the tactics of Tupolev, God, that bothers me because I'd love to know if it's actually Tupolev or Tupolov. I think it's Tupolev.
I think it's pronounced Tupolev.
Okay, well,
L-E-V.
Okay,
L-E-V at the end. So,
well, I think they specifically, as far as Remus knowing, okay, the torpedoes are going to be armed a certain way by Russians because this is how they normally fire a torpedo, and that's why he heads straight into it, knowing those tactics already.
And then knowing the Tupolev. Okay, Ambassador, here's the thing. I speak Russian a little bit.
Go for it. Okay.
And when I see an EV at the end of a word in English, it can be either off or ev.
Okay.
And that's because the same letter that the letter that makes both those sounds looks almost identical. That's where.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I think it's Tupolov actually in Russian, but Tupolov, when Ramius knowing that Tupolov would take the safety off his torpedoes, knowing that was going to happen, okay, because of having worked with Tupolov before, that's the kind of thing that you don't. That's fine if you know your own people like that, but I don't. It's not a good idea if the Russians know how an American sub commander is going to behave in any particular situation. You just have to guess, and that's big part of submarine warfare, because that's their whole mission in life: kill you from the shadows.
Yeah. Well, and one of the great aspects of this film is I would say this is probably one of the best submarine movies ever done, except for maybe Das Boot or maybe The Enemy Below or something along those lines. Because it's not just a pure military movie. You are dealing with people's personalities in this film because you've got Jack Ryan's personality, you've also got Remus, you've got Vasily, Remus' second in command, and you have got so many powerful performances in this film. It's hard, honestly, at times to really narrow down who's your favorite because honestly, wherever you throw a dart, you're going to hit a win. Because everybody brought their A game for this movie. When John McTiernan was putting together this cast, he got, I would think, his cast that he wanted from the outset. And just very quickly to the chat, Mountains of Elysium and Caleb's commentary. Good to see you both. Caleb, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you popping over from Point Extra Lounge. Glad you could tune in. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. And of course, Polyhedral Paradise. Very quickly, Jason P. Preston. Good to see you too, my old friend. Glad you could tune in. Hope you are doing well.
That is a cool name, Polyhedral Paradise. I love it.
Polyhedral and everything. Jason P. Preston. He talks a lot of D&D and role playing commentary and everything content. So if you like that sort of thing, Shea, if you can pull up Polyhedral Paradise's link to his channel and put it in the chat, go for it. Of course. But yeah, Jason, it is good to see you as always. And DJ Odyssey, good to see you as well, sir. Glad you were able to survive and have recovered from your 48-hour stream.
I see DJ Odyssey is starting things again.
Yeah.
Of course he is. That's what he's known for.
Well, and I'll say this. Down Periscope's not a bad movie. It isn't. But as far as a great submarine film, it's played more as a comedy or a spoof than it is as a pure military film and everything. And the other aspect of this movie that I've kind of touched on already, this is also not just a military movie. This is in a lot of ways it's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A political drama, if you really want to think about it. So, because of course you've got all the behind the scenes stuff and everything with our government and the Russian government. And I'll say this, I think they captured the bureaucracy of the Russian government fairly well in this film. And Ramius's uncle and everything, his wife's uncle and everything, I don't know if it was his one of his assistants or whatever, but I would say that has got to be the most unauthentic Russian accent I've ever heard out of a person playing a Russian in my life.
No. Anton Yelchin's Chekhov accent in Star Trek. That was the worst Russian accent ever played by a Russian. And
Which is ironic because Chekhov was pretty bad all by himself.
Yeah.
Copying a bad copy is really bad.
He pulled it off, but yeah, it was.
Polyhedral Paradise. What was the movie with John Bon Jovi? It was U-571, which was actually a World War II one. That's actually Polyhedral. That's that good catch there. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good one too. I almost forgot about that. It also had, what's his name? Bill Paxton as well. I think Paxton had a cameo in it, and it also had, who else did it have? I think it had Matthew McConaughey in it as well, if I remember correctly. But yeah, honestly, I would say that Red October not only is it a great sub movie and a military movie, but it has I think it's a good political drama as well and everything to a certain extent.
I think it's funny towards the end. The captain's chasing them out of the water.
Capitan Bayou. Captain's literally scaring them out of the water. Yeah, and Kayla's commentaries, fun fact, Anton Yelchin is actually Russian. Yeah, which is kind of sad because he does such a bad job doing a Russian accent.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Abrams effect.
I think Anton Yelchin's problem was that they were told that they had to try and be like the original cast. And, well, that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Because even Walter Koenig will say, I do a horrible Russian accent.
Yeah. And fun fact about Walter Koenig, he had a very good post-Trek career, particularly with Babylon 5.
Oh, yeah. He was great in Babylon 5.
Yeah, it's Alfred Bester, the Psychop.
Yeah, I actually followed him accidentally, mind you, through Phoenix Comic-Con last year. And I was looking at his he had the nylon jacket, the shiny nylon jacket on, and it had Babylon 5 across the back of it. And I went, oh, wow, that's a really great jacket. He turned around and said, thank you.
Wow.
I was like,
Okay.
oh, you're Walter Koenig.
You're actually Walter Koenig. Holy crap.
Hey, thank you, Aberjam. Yeah, I thought it was Tupolev. Like I said, the same letter form makes it's two. What we call an E in Russian is a Y, and if it's got two dots on it, it's a yo. So Gorbachev, Khrushchev, and Tupolev.
Polyhedral Paradise. I preferred it when Kevin Kline was driving away saying "asshole" throughout that movie.
And very quickly to the chat, Trey from Macworld Entertainment. Trey, you are everywhere, man. You are everything that is good about YouTube and online stuff. I'm just gonna say it. We all just bask in the glory of your magnificence. And here is a new face, but face that I just recently connected with on Instagram, Newbie Comics. Welcome, Newbie Comics. Thank you for popping in. Glad to see you. So, it's okay. Hey, notifications are acting a little funky. It happens. Don't feel bad. So, but getting back to Red October. The thing that I really,
I'm sorry, if you don't mind, Ambassador. I would like to answer Superior. Where'd it go? It jumped on me. Superior Hero Reviews. Yes, that is the third ID patch. Good eye, good catch. That's the subdued version. It's not the blue and white. It's the green and black. But yes, it is the third ID patch.
And who can forget the Russian accent pulled off by Robin Williams in Moscow and Hudson?
Yeah. Or not only that, as the OBGYN in 9 months.
Okay, so
as Dr. Kosovich.
We're going to have to include Robin Williams.
Yes, yeah. Well, Robin Williams could do a lot of good accents very well. So
back to the Hunt for Red October.
One comment I really wanted to make was the score by Basil Podronis. My God, that man could write good scores, and particularly for this movie. So I loved the score for this film so much. I mean, this is the type of score that you can turn. You put it in your stereo system. You crank up the bass. You crank up everything to 11. You're singing in front of a roaring fire with your favorite adult beverage, and you just sit there. You let that music absolutely just absorb into your blood, into your body.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to show a little love for the score for this film, because honestly, while the score isn't overdone in this film, it is a great one. Oh, and Polyhedral, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Polyhedral, thank you for Jason. Thank you for bringing up. Yeah, same guy who did the score for Conan the Barbarian. I think he did the score for Conan the Destroyer as well. So, but we don't get much time with Jack Ryan, the Family Man. But I think that little scene at the beginning of the movie really set the tone for who Jack Ryan was outside of his role as a doctor working for the CIA and for the United States government and everything very well. And I'm just going to say it. His daughter, the girl that played his daughter in that scene, was just absolutely adorable. So
yeah. I'm looking through the cast list here, and it's funny because IMDb does. Oh, she's all the way down at the bottom.
Oh, the daughter?
No, the daughter, and there's no picture of her. And Gates McFadden is near the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I think they do that in terms of how much screen time an actor or actress has on a particular film. So it makes sense in a lot of ways, or anything that they would do that.
But it tells you how. I didn't even remember that was Gates McFadden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she only has the one scene, and then you see Ryan lean into the car when they pull up to Heathrow Airport, and he kisses her, and then that's the last time you see her. And the other thing that I appreciate about this film, the one thing I appreciate about the story in this film is how you get some backstory on Ryan. So, when the captain of the Enterprise and one of the other guys, I think it's the second in command or whatever, is talking, and it's the guy that plays Niles off of The Nanny, and Dalton's character is talking about Ryan getting hurt in a chopper accident and everything. He's actually got the credentials to wear that uniform that Greer puts him in.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to pop this up. Newbie Comics and everything has got a channel and everything. If y'all dig X-Men comics, which I am a person who does, go over and check out Newbie Comics. Absolutely. Go over and if you're a comics fan, regardless of whether you're Marvel or DC or whatever, I have checked out some of Newbie Comics' content. It is good stuff, so go give him a look, folks. So, but getting back on track here, the interesting thing about this is we get a very multi-layered look at Jack Ryan, the man. Not only do we get the family man a little bit, but this is a guy that's very unassuming. He isn't a bureaucrat. He isn't a politician. He's a military analyst that worked for the CIA who went through, I'm guessing, some sort of military academy and everything to get to where he was. And then he decided to step aside from regular service and just started do consulting and everything for the military. And he gets on a plane in the middle of the night because he's gotten word of this new technology that the Soviets have developed, and he's like, this worries me because you got to think about it. Not only is he doing this because he feels like it's his duty as to the military, but I think he's, for another sense, he's looking out for his family as well. So, yeah, and Amberjam brought up this point a little while ago and everything about the different Jack Ryans that have been portrayed on screen. Obviously, this was our first introduction to the character of Jack Ryan. But then, of course, we got the Harrison Ford one. We got the one with Ben Affleck. And, of course, we've gotten the recent one with John Krasinski. So, guys, in terms of the character of Jack Ryan, who do you think has done it best thus far?
I don't have an opinion because I've not seen most of those movies, honestly.
I'll say Harrison Ford.
To be perfectly honest with you, I'm going to go with Chuck.
Oh, John Krasinski?
Yeah.
I've heard. Go ahead.
No, well, I think he brings a real depth to the character in 10 episodes that you really cannot get in a single movie. And since Jack Ryan has been played by a different person in basically every single movie, he really does the better job, I think, considering his comedic talent and his dramatic talent, all taken into consideration. It's really a more in-depth look at the character than we get in anything else that we've seen other than the novels themselves.
Yeah. Well, Caleb Commentary brings this up. He's like, his opinion is it's Alec Baldwin because he's closest to the book. I'm assuming Caleb has read the book. I've never had the opportunity to do so. My main exposure to October has obviously been the movie. And I haven't had an opportunity to watch the series Jack Ryan with John Krasinski as of yet. But everything that I've heard about it has been he's done a very good job. And considering John Krasinski's resume as an actor, I think that's perfectly valid. I think that's a fair critique and everything to say that he's one of the best Jack Ryans. In terms of, well, you know what, positive candor. Why don't you chime in here? What's your position on it?
I like Harrison Ford's portrayal. obviously in
Mhm.
Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
And like, that Ann Archer plays his wife in those two films and everything. And I think, to me, he did it after Alec Baldwin and before Ben Affleck, which I did not like his portrayal at all in The Sum of All Fears.
Yeah.
But I thought his portrayal, to me, seems, as far as the movies anyway, the most realistic and everything. I thought Harrison Ford, brought his portrayal of Jack Ryan in those two films, elevates it to me above even Alec Baldwin's in this one.
And I think that's a fair assessment. I liked Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan in the two films and everything, Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. I thought they were good movies. Were they great movies? No, but they were good. They were really good, solid espionage / political drama films and everything, and I thought they were good. And I can understand your position, positive candor on Ben Affleck. I liked Some of All Fears. I thought the film itself was good, and everything. I thought it was an interesting story. It was one that really engrossed me, and everything. But I can understand where others might not have liked Jack Ryan's portrayal of Ben Affleck's portrayal of Jack Ryan. And honestly, we've gotten 4 different actors. Well,
yeah, and Chris Pine. Yeah, Chris Pine in his movie Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. To me, that is kind of almost a reboot in a way.
I think it was meant to be, but unfortunately, it didn't do particularly well. And very, very quickly to the chat, Jeff B and 14 Barber. It's good to see you both. Thank you for popping in, and evening and good day. So, but I'll say this much or anything about Hunt for October for me. I'm not a big military movie person. I'm more of a sci-fi and fantasy type person, but this is one movie that I have always gone to, and it's primarily because, 1, the cast, but 2, the story. Because stories like this always intrigue me. I like political intrigue. That's why I've always been a James Bond fan. I've loved movies about spies and espionage and all of that stuff, and all the different incarnations. And of course, to a lot of people, Connery was the best Bond. And I'm one of those people that holds that position. My second favorite Bond, and I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I like Daniel Craig's portrayal as James Bond. Granted, I haven't seen Spectre, but I did see the first 3 that he did. I did see Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall. I loved his portrayal in all 3 of those. In terms of the other Bonds, my third favorite is Roger Moore, honestly. And I did like Timothy Dalton's portrayal as Bond. As far as Pierce Brosnan, he was a good Bond. Was he the greatest Bond of all time? No, because they got just a little too cheesy. It got a little too gimmicky with all the different types of tech and everything. It just got too unbelievable for me. But I know that's a little bit of a digression off of the main topic. But guys, your favorite Bonds. I mean, we've got the mother of all Bonds here in this film. And everything. Who's y'all's favorite Bonds? And in the chat, please share your favorite Bonds as well, by all means.
Well, I grew up with Roger Moore.
I did too.
So it's not really a contest for me as far as which one, because Moonraker is still my favorite Bond film, even though it's a silly film.
Wait, that's not what I wanted.
It's funny. I don't have a particularly favorite Bond. I look at every movie as a standalone project. Even like Star Wars, I tend to look at him as a standalone project. If the actor changes who plays the main character, I base the portrayal on what I'm seeing, and I don't have a favorite actor. I don't have a favorite Bond. I don't have a favorite Kirk. I mean, you know what I mean when it comes to Kirk.
Yeah.
I don't look at things that way, because I go in with I went into Star Trek 2009 going, this is going to suck. And I wasn't entirely right. Okay. They did a good job. And Chris Pine pulled a halfway decent Kirk, but I have to stop. I had to stop looking at everything like, well, this is the way it should be. I mean, Sean Connery and Roger Moore, they are James Bond. No, they're not. Okay. Were some better than others? Yeah. But in the context, they weren't. If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, I can get that. Positive Kandra, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, each actor brought their unique personality, I guess, to their portrayal as Bond. You had the smooth and suave kind of Sean Connery, basically, versus Roger Moore was when it started getting a little bit more comedic in a way, because Moonraker, to me, that's a comedy of immense proportions as far as a Bond movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even though it's go ahead, PC.
Even though it's not supposed to be, but some of the scenes, which obviously were imitated in the Austin Powers movies specifically, are kind of funny to make fun of. And then I do like the return to the grittiness factor that Daniel Craig as Bond has brought to the character as a very gritty take on Bond and everything. So each person that has portrayed Bond has brought their own unique personality to it, to me. And yeah, that's so. Yeah, I mean, Connery is the one, and Moore were the two. Obviously, I grew up watching mainly, but I really do like Daniel Craig's portrayal as Bond, because it gets more into the gritty, more into the spy factor and stuff like that and everything. And return to Spectre specifically, that the original films with Sean Connery was his main enemy group that he was always up against, basically. So yeah, each one has put a unique spin on it. Each one has been different, even from movie to movie. As far as their portrayal of Bond in each movie, almost they're slightly different, even from movie to movie. Because you base Diamonds Are Forever to Thunderball, which is a little bit different kind of a take, to obviously Goldfinger, which is probably the number one Sean Connery James Bond, movie to me.
This conversation right here gives me an idea for a good stream.
Yeah, Bond would be great.
Oh, Bond. Everybody loves. Go ahead, Admiral.
One of the things that endeared me to Daniel Craig immediately was the old line. He wanted a martini, shaken or stirred. I don't care.
Well, a couple of people have brought this up, George Lazenby and Peter Sellers, because Lazenby, although he only had one outing on as Bond in Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is honestly, I think, one of my favorite Bond films and everything. And DJ Odyssey brings up Peter Sellers and everything in the spoof and everything of Casino Royale. And fun fact, folks, if you have HBO Max, they have the original Casino Royale with Peter Sellers in it and everything. So if you have that resource at your disposal, I suggest availing yourself of it and go back and rewatch the original Casino Royale because it is a great one. But, and I'll go even one step further and Positive Candor, Admiral, this is probably a pair of movies that you know well. It's James Coburn as Flint.
Yes, I know that.
I loved
Our
those
man
films.
Flint. Yes.
Our man Flint and In Like Flint.
In Like Flint. Yep.
Yeah. I can't say that I've ever seen either of those, unfortunately.
Really?
James Coburn was absolutely fabulous as Flint.
Yeah, he was. Admiral, did you ever see Austin Powers?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I don't know if you have HBO Max or not, but HBO Max actually has both of the Flint movies on there. They have Our Man Flint and In Like Flint on HBO Max.
I'm gonna have to ask Mrs. Doom. She has all the. I pay for them. She has all the streaming services.
If you have it, I suggest. Here's the funny thing, and a little fun fact about me. I grew up in an era where Blockbuster Video was a thing. Well, of course, Positive Candor, CCDV, Admiral. You probably all three of you probably remember Blockbuster as well.
Yeah.
They were like 7-Elevens on every bloody corner.
Yeah. Me and Mother Ambassador, we would go to Blockbuster at least once a week, and they had the classic movie section, and these came out in the 1960s. My Mother Ambassador was a teenager in the 1960s, and she's like, we ought to get these. I was like, are they any good? She's like, you like the James Bond stuff? I was like, well, yeah, obviously we watched practically every single one. She's like, they're a little more campy, they're a little more cheesy, but she's like, it's got James Coburn. When she said James Coburn, I was like, I'm sold, because I love James Coburn as an actor. I really do. And we got them and we watched them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so darn cheesy, but they're so good. She's like, you like them? I was like, I love them. And I just recently, I was at a secondhand media store, and I found Our Man Flint on DVD, and I was like, yoink, mine. I went up to the when we got, me and Madam Ambassador got ready to check out. The cashier looked at me, and he's like, Our Man Flint? I was like, yeah. He's like, you're not old enough to know that movie. I was like, my mom. He's like, you got a good mom.
Well, it's funny because it just occurred to me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
We didn't have a VCR. Oftentimes, we didn't even have a TV. No. My background is that we were very poor when I was growing up.
Oh, same here. Okay. Yeah.
We didn't have. We always had a second-hand TV that inevitably would blow up. We didn't have we didn't have a VCR. Most of the music that I grew up with was on 8-track.
I remember seeing 8-tracks, but I've never actually listened to one.
Are you trying to tell me that you did not wave your your privilege around and just get free stuff?
Back in Admiral's day, there was no such thing as privilege. You worked I'm just going to say, you worked your ass off for what you wanted in life.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about like the Flint movies, okay? At the time, I had no idea because we couldn't do that kind of. This is one of the reasons why music is so important to me, is because that's what we had.
Yeah,
I had a record player and an 8-track player. Hell, I didn't even have a cassette player till I was a senior in high school, and that was an accident.
Hell, I didn't have a CD player until I got out of high school, for crying out loud, when I started working and everything.
My first CD player was in my car.
I had a portable one. I was lucky. I was able to get my hands on a portable one. I think. Go
my
ahead,
brother.
CC.
My brother and I used the portable one with a little cassette tape adapter that would plug into the car stereo,
Right.
and that's what we used.
But
That reminds me of a scene in Wayne's World where Wayne and what's her face, Tia Carrera, I can't remember the name of Cassandra, are driving driving somewhere, and she's like, when'd you get the CD player? He's like, when we got the cash.
yeah, but I mean, so all of these older movies that I can now check out, I had no idea back then because, and now it's like trying to find time to see some of these things, because now that I have the opportunity to actually see them, it's time constrained.
Oh yeah, of course. Always.
And it's so funny well, you didn't see this when you were growing up? No. Any movie I saw was at the Dollar Theater around the corner from the house. And by then, everybody had already talked about the movie, so there was no point in going to see it because, well, I basically knew the whole movie. And $1 was a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And Jam was like, luxury. When I was a kid, we used to get up at 4 every morning and lick the road clean with our tongue.
Don't make me finish that one. Don't make me finish that one.
And very quickly to the chat, DJ Odyssey, thank you for stopping by, sir. Always a pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. And folks, if you have not subscribed to DJ Odyssey, go do so. He is a great channel. His streams are an absolute blast. I know I was on a couple of them last weekend and everything. So if you have not heard of DJ, go check him out. Great guy. If you like what you see, subscribe to him. And I'm gonna pop this up here. Cody from Superior Hero Reviews, he makes this comment. It's weird, the sense of entitlement that exists today. Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
Everybody in this chat, I imagine everybody in the stream here understands what it means to have to work for a living, have to bust your. And I know we've gone way off topic, honestly, but I think honestly we've kind of covered everything that needs to be said about Red October. Everybody in this chat and everybody in this stream knows what it means to bust your ass to make a living. And I think if these idiots that are out there protesting, okay, I don't want to say protesting because peaceful protest does have a useful purpose. I will say that. But these idiots that are out there rioting and causing a bunch of trouble, if they went out and got a regular job, they may realize how hard life actually is because they're living in a fantasy world. They're not living in an actual, they're not living in reality.
All you have to know is that most of their existence revolves around social media on their iPhones. Okay?
Yeah, essentially.
When I was growing up, I would have loved to have a Walkman. Okay? As silly as that sounds, a Walkman was incredible because we couldn't have one.
Yeah.
And now I need to have an iPhone 11. No, you need to have your ass beat.
Careful, you might trigger somebody, Admiral. But guess what? I don't care. And also to the chat, 14 Barber, excuse me. I'll get your name down right eventually, my friend. You take care. Thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. So, but and I just want to send a shout out to my moderator. I know I have several, but my first moderator, Shea Storm Dragon, it's been a while since she's been here. She's back working again, and she's like, Ambassador, this was a few months ago. She's like, I'm gonna have to get my 2 weeks notice because I'm going back to work. I was like, hey, you will always have a place here. And as I've told everybody that supports my channel, regardless of whether you are here all the time or you have real life or real world responsibilities, you will always have a place in this community. Because I'm not just a channel, I'm a community. And I'm glad to be expanding my community, and that's the truth. So to everybody that's old or new in the chat, thank you for being here. It is honestly great to put out this content for you all, to present something that's positive and fun and talk about great old movies like this, like Red October. And even though we've really gone off the rails in terms of our conversation about Red October, it's been a great conversation, I think. I hope you all have thought so as well. So, but I think, go ahead, Admiral, please.
Superhero reviews. Yes, I nailed it on the head. You have to remember, I'm one of those people that A, have no filter, and B, my given F meter has been in deficit spending for years.
Same here. And Admiral is actually older than me, and I think CCDV both. I think Positive Candor and Admiral, you're the elder statesman of this stream and everything. Me and CC are the youngins, and matter of speaking.
We being the youngins.
Okay, I've only got you by a decade. Oh,
that's still a lot. That's still a lot, Admiral.
Hey, at least you got your hair.
Yeah, and Aberjam. And Aberjam, give me a ping, Vasily. One ping only, please.
Yes, I mean, I have a unique perspective on things because I only have my job because I'm a vet.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who were hiring at where I work were only hiring minorities. Mm-hmm. And as a vet, I counted. So I'm one of those that go, you talking about privilege? Give me a damn break. So I tend to be
Trey brings it. Trey brings it. Dang, Trey, nice one, son. Oh man, Trey Lord the boom. Good one, man. Trey, my friend, Mackerel Entertainment. That was a good one.
And the problem is when I grow them, I tend to carpet bomb them.
And I think Cinnabon Bunny's in here. I just got to switch over to the other page or anything. I don't know what Cinnabon Bunny said, but we'll find out here in a second. So as my chat catches up. Okay. I guess I missed it. No, wait a minute. Still going.
Wait for it.
Where is it? I don't even see it. I don't see Cinnabon in here.
I see.
Where is she? Where are they? I don't see him in the chat.
I don't see Cinnabon Money anywhere.
I don't either. Maybe Aberjam typed incorrectly. Wouldn't be the first time. So, well, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up here and everything because I know Admiral's got to get off to his 9 to 5. Ooh, another good idea for a movie to review.
Oh my God! Yes.
Working 9 to 5.
No. We only have a lady sing that song here. You're not doing falsetto for Dolly Parton. No way, CC. I'll keep you muted till the end. Although the end's coming soon.
Oh my God!
Oh,
again that.
Oh yes. And even that dirty rotten traitor Jane Fonda. So. Oh, okay. All right. Average M clarified. Mounds of Elysium equals Cinnabon. Okay, gotcha. So, well, folks, I want to thank
here.
I want to thank my guests, Admiral Oliver Franklin Doom, or Admiral of Doom, as he's put into his thing. Positive Candor, Mr. CCDV. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on today. Is there anything you want to plug for your channels before we sign off?
I'll let Positive Candor go first. He's top of the...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have my show at, I guess, 8 a.m. now. My Positive Candor. Then I just talk about, things from movies to TV shows to whatever. Just current kind of stuff that I enjoyed watching growing up and stuff like that. From TV shows to movies to video games I played and stuff like that.
Me, I run a show called Just an Observation because that is my tagline for almost everything. I've been focusing a lot on old time radio episodes and sharing the beauty of the old time radio. There are some things I will not cover on that show because of the nature of the things, but some of the stuff is just absolutely incredible. So check that out if you have the interest.
Yes. I know Shea or somebody put the link to Admiral's channel in the chat. So, folks, go over there, click that sucker, and subscribe to check out Admiral Doom's content. I have checked it out personally. He does some good. He does some really good content. It's different. It's original, and it covers stuff that isn't really covered all that much. So, I suggest you all go over there. Check out his stuff. If you like what you see, subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell. Mr. CC, anything you want to plug before we sign off?
I am currently hosting a Saturday night karaoke after show starting at midnight Central, right after Rambling Canuck finishes his karaoke.
Yeah, Rambling Canuck. Good guy.
Every night, Monday through Friday, Jedi Bill 797 and myself, we co-host the Insomniac Soup. So if you find yourself awake after midnight Central Time, anytime Monday through Friday, we are streaming. On the weekends, we do morning blend. This coming Saturday, as a matter of fact, tomorrow morning, I will be hosting the 4th of July celebration personally because Jedi Bill hopefully will be asleep. He is just finishing his 50-hour stream tonight at midnight. So I will be hosting morning blend tomorrow morning for the 4th of July celebration, and most likely Sunday morning as well, but I haven't confirmed that yet. I intend to continue uploading my memoirs, and hopefully I'll actually do that eventually. I've only got 2 volumes uploaded right now, and I'll get around to it, I swear.
Okay. And gentlemen, thank you once again for being here. I greatly appreciate it. And as for myself, everybody who is in the chat who is familiar with me, for those of you who are not familiar with me, I cover pop culture, both modern and retro. So if that's something that you are interested in, if you enjoyed this stream, make sure you hit that like button, share this with anybody that might be that is a fan of Sean Connery, Hunt for Red October, anything that has to do with the 90s. That's awesome. That is what I cover. That's what I talk about. There will be no stream tomorrow night, as it is the 4th of July. So go out, and if you are a member of this nation, if you are an American, go out to quote Apu Nahasapila Pedalon from The Simpsons, and I don't care if it's politically correct or not. Go out and celebrate the independence of your country by blowing up a small chunk of it. But, folks, thank you all for being here once again. To everybody in the chat, there's too many to list off, so I'm just going to say thank you most sincerely to all of you for being here. As always, I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, go ahead, Admiral. Yeah.
And like I always say, folks, always remember to live life as if awesome is a downgrade.
Yes. Yes, I think that is good advice to live by. So, but I will be back Monday with Afternoons with the Ambassador with my friends Adega Outlaw and Mountains of Elysium as we continue our discussion of Babylon 5. And until next time, this is the Ambassador signing off.